Well, my friends, we're back. A beautiful graduation ceremony to you. I was not around last week because of Christmas, so now I'm way behind. Today, I don't even know how long I can go. We'll see. But I'm going to do today's first, and then I'm going to, at some point, at some point in the future, I'm going to do the rest, which was yesterday. I'm sure it's loads. So now I'm okay. So let's get into it. Pretty cool year at the dojo. People should be getting their year-end summaries. I have some ideas of how to improve the year-end summary. In any case, I also have some ideas of how to improve the post-mortem. Here we go, though. This is Carl. We don't know anything about Carl. Looks like he just joined. But he's gone up epically here. I really need to fix this thing, so we're going to have to patch through it. But welcome, Carl, to the dojo. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a game or two. Next up, we have Bobkoff. And Bobkoff is famous because there's two of them. So I think one is Kov Bob and one is Bobkoff. I know it's a father-son duo. So this is a super cool graduation. The third says, still have some tactics work to catch up. Polgar and Giannatis was helpful, but it's hard to find people to do post-mortems. I've started playing the games on a real board, even if they're online with someone else making the opponent's moves. Yeah, that's great. And I also want to say, this new thing that we have going, the game and profile review, it is a beautiful thing, and especially this under 1,000 group. They're such a cool group of people. So I realized that would be an extra commitment, but anyone who's looking to really step it up in terms of their chess improvement, that is a great opportunity. Here we got Bobkoff. And as you see, just epic improvement here. So yeah, that's right. His dad is Cove Bob. And there's Bobkoff, looks like a young Nigel Short. And he got a little bit more serious about his training in December here. Let's see if we got any games from Bobkoff. We got at least one, but that's from a while ago. Oh, we got one here. It's 12:27. Let's go take a look. Okay, so 30 minutes, great. And this is just a beautiful thing here because you can see that the dojo player used their time and the white player initially used their time and then just completely stopped thinking. And this is just a good illustration of the fact that people find it hard to think in endgames, and they also find it hard to think for a sustained period of time. So you just look at it, move 20 or so, the thinking cashes out here for his opponent. All right, let's go game review, and I probably have to fix the layout just real quick. So here, we're going to go Cove Bob. Here, Cove Bob. Oh, that's not correct. I don't know what you did there. I don't know what you did there, buddy. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so we are back to the front. Fine move. Beautiful. Fine. Weird. Right? Now, this is one of the reasons it makes no sense to study the openings when you're at the lower levels. Your opponents are going to do weird things, and you need to learn to just make principled moves, such as knight c6. Beautiful. I agree with you. Terrible move. Fine. Good move. e3, again, not developing. Good. Bishop f5. Great move. Castles. Now, I think castles here, what you do is fine. I just want to point out the bishop d3 would be a real winner. And one of the things to appreciate about bishop d3 is, I get it, you're moving a piece twice, but you're also preventing white from doing this, which is something he should have done long ago. Okay, I still want bishop d3. You play d4. Fine. Terrible move. And now you go for it with d3. Excellent. Excellent. Yep. Notice that he is into is understanding the dojo dogma, namely that he has got 4 tempi, and that's more than a pawn. Right? Cove Bob is here. Nice. Totally cool. That's Bobkov's dad. Maybe they're watching together. Okay, so here we go. Knight f4. He says only move. Now, really, it's not the only move, but it's true that that's the only place, if you were going to move the knight, that he could move. I guess he could also go to d4. d4 might have been better than this. But in any case, reasonable move. Maybe it's a little tricky because black or white should now play king h2. But bam, we got him. Beautiful. And let's just point out, they're just not thinking, you know? So this is just a beautiful thing. Now, knight h3 worries me. Oh, it doesn't really worry me. Maybe it worries me a little because I'm worried about getting shut out. So the safe move would be here, check. But okay. Here, king h2 maybe is a try for white. I don't know. Good. We're threatening mate, by the way, not just the rook. We're threatening queen g5. Check to the miserable king. And this is actually a little interesting. If king h2, I'm presuming maybe queen e5, snagging the rook. He goes here. And this is very frisky because you're allowing 2 things here. Boom or boom. And what I just want to say is, in my experience of chess at this level, you want to make things as easy as possible. And here, it's just, you're giving me a heart attack. There's no reason to give me a heart attack at this point. I don't want to worry about c5 or anything like that. So I guess I would rather play a5. If you play, or a6, when you play knight e5, you already have a winning position. But now you have to make me worry about both of those moves. Poor move. Thank you. Simple chess. Good. Simple chess. Simple chess. Simple chess. Good. Good. We're just wiping the floor with this guy. Good. 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 Simple chess. Oh, very simple. And here we can see why white stopped thinking, because he should have resigned long ago, right? This person isn't thinking really at all. Yeah. Okay. Run, Forrest, run with a5. Very good game. And a couple things we'll just highlight. There's 3 things for you, Bobkov, and anyone at this level to master to get to the 1,000 mark. It's just 3 things. 1, to develop a grip on the board. That is not hanging stuff. There was very little hanging of stuff. I think I saw that you hung the h6 pawn at one point. But basically, you weren't giving anything for free. That is the most important of the 3 things I'm going to mention here. 2, using your clock. You did great. Look at that, 2474, beautiful rating. Number 3, developing your pieces. You were amazing. You were amazing. So, just judging from this game, we would like to say that you are well on your way, Bobkov. You are well on your way, my friend. And when we go back, we can see also from your rating graph, bam, that it's just flying up there. Let's go back to this little template here. All right, you're just doing outstanding. There it is. Beautiful. So, Skebix, we need you in there, bud. We need you in there for the group lessons. Yep. We definitely still have space, but you need to, well, actually, I would say you need to join soon, but that would just be if you wanted to start with everyone else on January 1st. You can join at any point, though. Yeah. All right, good. Let's continue. And next up, we have our for reals, for Niels. Let's see what's going on here. Kind of not a newish join, actually, from February. And they have gone up an incredible amount. We don't know anything about them, though. And they don't have any games. So our 45 kneels is a bit of a mystery, but whatever they're doing, they're pretty good because they are improving rapidly. Next up, we have Dominic Adams Chess. This is their second graduation, and they're very recent, and they're still graduating twice. That's probably, it's funny, I was like, oh, I don't remember this guy, but I think he might have graduated last week when I didn't do it because of Christmas, didn't do the graduation ceremony. I say hello to Bobkov. Beautiful. I think your son is on the way, my friend. I think you guys are probably having some games around the house. He's probably taking you down a little bit. Okay, he's probably taking you down. Okay, Dominic Adams Chess just joined, and he is flying up there as well. Let's just take a look. He's not telling us much about himself, but he just joined, so hopefully that'll come soon. Hopefully also he'll give us some games. Great, Skebix. Next up, we have the Besson, and he is pumped. He did a lot of work too, and I just popped this out. IT engineer from Barcelona. He didn't find the book, How to Beat Your Kid at Chess. It's I think he means how to beat your dad at chess, but maybe that's a joke. I think it's a joke. And Bon Hobbit is my son. Oh, that's cool. So first of all, we're going to pop this out. Look at this. He has been here since June, but he has gotten religious about it recently. And that's just a beautiful thing when you see somebody really going for it and getting some nice progress. You can see he started in October, and that's when the game, when I say started, I mean he started really being religious about his study, and he's gone up quite a bit. Hit 700, had a slight decline, but that's good enough, right? We're going to give him a follow. Ba-boom. He should say he's part of the Barcelona club or the Spanish club. We have those. And we got loads of games here from, well, let's see. Let's pick I would normally pick the OTB game, but that's from a while back, so we want to pick this more recent one. So this is from the Round Robin Fall 25, number 11 tournament. Beautiful thing. Let's mark it as reviewed. I don't know if I remembered to mark the last one. Ooh, and look at that. Very nice time usage. I have a feeling this is the Dojo Round Robin. Beautiful way to get games of people against people at your own level here. So you can see Nico T is rated a little higher. Okay, first thing I want to say, I would wish for a couple more notes just in the beginning, but let's go to game review here. Good move so far. I like to move the bishop out before I block it, but I'm not going to say too many bad things about what you've done here. Fine. 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 And this is a well-known position. Maybe this is why he didn't do it. This is usually called the Collie opening. And yeah, he mentions DC5 and E4, or just, you could even play E4 directly. I like Queen E2. And that is a cool move. Good move. So notice what he's done is that now CD can't be played because of E5. Now, for my, I don't know if I want to call it my money. Some people say for my money. I think that's the most challenging move. Gives us just some questions of how we want to play after CD. Maybe we even gambit a pawn with bishop G5. In any case, your opponent takes, commits to the weakness, and now you come back. I think that's good. I think F5 was poor. Okay, big moment here, and you play DC5. I think I'm going to be mostly okay with DC5, but in general, I don't know why we're doing it. This pawn is cool because it's really giving us this kind of thing here. So just intuitively, I'd like to develop and put my rooks in the center of the board. Simple chess. Good. I think bc5 might have been better, by the way, because then he would have had at least dreams of playing e5. Now, if you're going to put the bishop on d7, why did you play here? I get it. He wants to protect this. Good move. I like that a lot. One of the reasons the bishop belonged on d6 for black. Good evaluation, too. I fully agree. This is a clear advantage for white. Knight e5. Now, you know what I wanted? I wanted you to bring your other rook in. That's just where it goes. Chess Lover, thank you very much for subscribing. So, Happy New Year to you, too. I don't like that. What do I want you to do? I want you to put the rook in the center. You're playing a traitor. A good move. Rook e7's a little weird. Maybe king f7. Rook e5. Okay. And now we need to say the computer says rook d1 for some reason, but rook f5 is, first of all, the thing we should at least consider. Now, this is a funny computer moment, actually, because I think a lot of GMs would even fall for the trap of playing rook f5. I certainly would have fallen for it, at least in a blitz game. The problem, I think, now his computer, you can see he's got a little stockfish thing there. But I think that would be the problem with rook f5. Even here, I'm not sure. It still looks like it works because we get to pick up the rook here, the bishop, I mean. So, tell you what, I'm even going to cheat. I think rook f5 is the best move here. Let's just see here. What's wrong with rook f5? It's taking a second to load. Just loves white position so much after rook d1. What's wrong with rook f5? There's nothing wrong with rook f5. There's nothing wrong. Take the pawn. So let me just say something about the computers here. I don't care if you're a GM or a blah, blah, blah. The computer's seeing some fancy things after rook d1. The human move is to take the pawn on f5. Thank you very much. Okay. Now king f7. Now we should definitely play rook f5. He says he didn't see it. I get it. Poor move. Now, here's an important thing. If you did not see rook f5, that's fine. But this move is just putting the bishop in a position where it's doing nothing. What should you do? You should improve your king if you don't see rook f5. Now that's pretty frisky. I don't understand this, and I don't understand your notes either, because on f5 he could just take this thing. Thank you very much. Okay. I don't understand rook h. I guess I understand it. Okay. Okay. Now we're messing up here. And actually, we're just going to say this move by your opponent, I don't know if it's a great move, but it at least has a good idea that you fall for, which is opening up his rook. I think right now you probably need to play like rook c5 and try to tell black that his rook is misplaced over there. Also, we really don't want to let this bishop come here, so what's going to happen is he's going to activate his rook, and then he's going to activate his bishop, and then all of a sudden we're in big trouble. However, we should never just hang our bishop with bishop e4. That's got to get a question mark. All right. So, let's think for a half a second here. Bishop e4. Very fancy. And I'm just going to admit it. I was like, that's a blunder. But you did have an idea. So let's look here. Boom. Boom. And now rook h4 is what he plays. And there you might survive. So your move, by the way, your whole idea with bishop e4, I'm going to have to countenance. Very surprising, honestly, the bishop e4 move. It's just a stunningly good move, actually, bishop e4. Generally, when I'm doing games for under 1,000 and I see a move like bishop e4, I just assume it's a blunder. But actually, wow, what a great move. It's actually just a really, really good move because now if he trades, our rook is actually going to get activated. And so now we're better. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So that, by the way, this bishop e4 move, that's a GM level move in a tournament game. You know, and here you're playing a 30, but I mean like a normal time control. Here you're playing what we'd call a rapid game with 30 minutes, which, you know, is the fastest we recommend for the people at your level. And you find bishop e4. I mean, that's a hell of a drug, man. That's an amazing thing. Okay, so now you're better. I don't know if that check actually helped him too much. In principle, I like this move, rook d4. Arguably unnecessary. Rook e2 would be maybe simpler. Because now the question is, can black get active? You go here. Very nice move. Good. Good. Wow, you're playing a great game. Good. Wow. Very impressive. Genius level. a4 is fine. I think d5 might have been playable there, but there's nothing wrong with a4. And now black blows it entirely with rook d5, and you took on e6, which is, can't argue. And then black is very short on time. Very nice game. You know, I just want to say, there was a couple things I didn't like, but in general, you played good chess and you found a really GM level move, bishop e4. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. So that is Delarada. I already marked it as reviewed, I think. Yep. Very well done. Let's just go back. So Delarada here, the Besson, is cranking it recently and finding moves like bishop e4. At some point, we got to do best moves of the dojo, and that's got to be in there. Bishop e4. Very nice. Okay. Next up, we have We're going to see this guy again, by the way. You know, we have I don't know how to say his name. Play a Nepo. Okay, so logging his stuff sometimes. He's been here for a while. Oh, actually, you can see he used to log more religiously. Okay, and after he stopped logging, he went down. But anyways, he's over here at 706. Clubs. He's in the Spanish dojo. Okay. And this game, also very recent, looks like an OTB game. Let's take a look. This was OTB 190 plus 30. This is the Madrid Regional Tournament, 3rd Division. Beautiful. You can, of course, log your time. It is always a beautiful thing to do during the game and after. Let's hit the game review button. All right, here we go. So, in general, this is fine for black because the queen is developed. So even though it's a good example of an exception, normally we don't want to see the queen developed early, but here it's not so easy for white to harass the queen. Wow, queen e4. I don't know. In general, too frisky by black, trying to win a pawn without developing. So, boom, exclam. And you're seeing that queen c2, you can take, and play bishop, rook c1. Great. And now, I like your position a lot. All right, you castle, good move. All right, your opponent is being very frisky, and you play a cautious move here with c3. And I think that's okay. One thing I like about it is we might want to start our attack here with b4, b5, in addition to holding the d4 square. Good move. That's too much. All right, here, now is an interesting thing. So the problem your opponent has here, let's just put it bluntly, is your opponent doesn't understand the importance of development. They might be a genius level player. Maybe they have a ChessCom tactics rating of a gazillion, but they don't understand development. And here, what should they do? Either move the queen and play for e6. That's the sane person's way to play, or play g6. But this guy's got to get out. Okay, snip, snop. Now you have a big decision. This is where I'd like to see some timestamps. You have a big decision of whether you should take that thing. Because if you let's play a move like queen c4, you have a massive queen c4. You play queen d5, rook ad1. Say your advantage is massive. So the question is, how do we evaluate this ending? And it's definitely winning if he allows you downtown. So the only move for black would have been king c8. And the plan for black, of course, would be if we take, then this is happening to us, right? And the problem for us in this position is like, well, wait a second. How do we actually get at the black position? Might not be so easy. Right? So this has got to be called a blunder with b6. Check. And you play a4. Now, it's very important that we prevent g6 and bishop g7. And that's what happens in the game. So the question now for your annotation needs to be, hey, how, if at all, could I have prevented him from doing that to me? And like an example could be e6, and if fe, we play here. And the main point is just to say no. No, black. You will never break this pin over here. Okay, so check. We give black time, and he does it. And now he should have a defensible endgame. Notice here when you're in your commentary, you don't do anything. And I just want to stress, here would be a great time for me to see your timestamps too, because so many people stop thinking in positions like this, where actually things are going to become very concrete now. Good move. I don't understand a5. Black needs to find a way to activate the bishop on h8. I don't understand b3. We need to play king f3. Ooh, I really don't like that move. This is just making it harder to get the bishop out. Ooh, g5, not a good move. This is what I mean by we got to think. We need to make some kind of inroads on the king's side, and we need to think about it. Is it f5, for example? Is it h4? These are questions we need to ask. That's not it. All right. Now, black is doing a gamble here that I have a feeling they haven't calculated. So, for example, this position here, if he doesn't trade the bishops, is definitely a draw for him. And the question with bishop c5 is, are you sure that you're drawing that position? I think he is, actually, but I just wonder how much he thought about it. I think you should maybe move your bishop, because this is very dangerous that you did to yourself. You offered a draw. I don't know if it's a draw, honestly. Here, black plays c5, a fantastic blunder. A fantastic blunder with c5. Oh, okay. So the question is, though, black is, first of all, let's just say the obvious. Black is definitely better. Was there any way that he could have messed with you? Now, the good news for you is you do have some moves to give with the pawn, so probably not. But that would have been the move. And you're correct in giving the notes. Yeah, okay. So we got ourselves a draw. Okay, good. He blunders, very instructive position. Oh no, and now you're winning. Beautiful. Okay, that was a beautiful thing, Ernesto, and you're doing well. I'm hoping that you can come back and give us some more, be more religious as you once were with the writing down of what you did. But that was a good game, and I honestly, so many games now that I'm seeing in the under 1000s seem to me like games like, oh, you know, this could be a stronger game. I mean, a stronger player here. Yeah, he's playing the second German ELO Open and stuff. Beautiful. Okay, so ba-boom. Oh, let's give him a follow. And now we're moving on to JW, my third graduation. Since my last graduation, I gained about 180 points and then lost it all in a stretch where I apparently forgot how to play. I had to slowly grind some of it back to reach the graduation threshold, so I'm taking it as a win. Prioritizing tactics study and blunder games have been helping a lot. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, look at this. First of all, beautiful rating graph. Older dude. Ba-bam. Look at that. Very nice. JW, I definitely think you should take a look at our game and review class. It's not for everybody. I could give the recommendation, but I just thought of you because we got some people in their 50s who are going for it as you are. And so it's just really cool that you would have a group of people kind of with you there. Yeah. Okay. Clubs. Is he in the old dude club? He is. All right. JW is crushing it. So, ba-bam. And this was played a while back. But first of all, let's give him a follow. And then we're going to take a look over here. Dojo round robin in the fall. Beautiful. And we did a very nice time graph. And you're actually playing somebody who thought. And so in general, in the under 1000s, we see that people don't think. But when you play in the dojo round robin, the quality of play is generally going to be a bit higher. So here we go. Ba-bam. Now it says that there's 1,000 people watching, but I know exactly what that means. I've been at this rodeo before. That means that chess.com is hosting us on their site. So I'm very happy to see that amazing 1,000 number, but I know actually what it means. So there might be some people watching on chess.com. I'm glad for it. Now, a very fancy move from JW, B4. I don't want JW to be playing fancy opening moves here, but here he goes. And this is the fanciest move here. Now, he says he likes queen b3 instead, but I do know that that's a very standard move here, d4. And now d5 is a terrible move. And I get it. He is thinking that he is going to zing his opponent with queen a4, but he's missing the c6. Couple things. We really want to say that if you think you are going to win your opponent's piece, that would be the end of the game. Okay, so in that case, you really want to spend more time than, say, 36 seconds. Right? Okay, so d5. Now notice what happened. We just blocked our bishop. check to the miserable king, and now we blunder with castles, and he gets us. Now we're lost. Terrible move. What are you doing? Develop your pieces, bud. Okay, good. I don't know about c4, but okay. Okay. I don't understand a3. Okay. I don't understand queen d3. Okay. So the issue is this is a cool looking tactic, but really it's just going to force some trades after DE and D6. And that's what he would like to do. So for example, when he does this, he just needs to go back, trades, and we've really just helped black out because he wants to trade stuff off. Okay, so rook fe8, mistake. You stole a pawn, good. All right. He's going to trade some stuff off, good. Patient, we'll call that. a5, I don't understand. Good. And in principle, this is right. Yeah, queen b3, I think this is okay. He's obsessed. Clearly moving too fast. He needs to think for a little bit here. Maybe queen b2 could be a thought. So queen d1's a mistake. That's a mistake. And he's bullying us here. And then you resigned. Maybe this happened. This could happen, and this could happen. Okay, so I want to say a couple things. We have seen this many times at the dojo. The people under 1,000 are studying openings. And actually, just to put a story to it, I was on Reddit cruising around, and I saw some guy, and he was like, bro, I'm stuck at 600. I'm doing all this opening work, and I'm watching all these videos, but I'm not improving. And I'm like, bro, you got to join the dojo, man. You know, you got to join the dojo. Dojo would tell you, don't, at this level, don't do any openings. It's going to actually make your life more difficult, as I think it did here for JW. It's going to make it more difficult, and the video watching might be fun, but it ain't going to help you. All right. Beautiful. Let's continue. That was JW. He is flying. Next up, we got Flosso. Flosso has done a lot of work. Let's go take a look. Yeah, 700. Beautiful. And they have kind of on and off with their login of stuff. We're going to give Flosso a follow. Tell us something about yourself, Flosso. Es aus Deutschland. Das wissen wir. But otherwise, we don't know. Here's Flosso. It looks like this could be a OTB game. Seems like it. No, it's on chess.com. And here you see something a little bit more standard in my experience of the under 1,000 cohort. Namely, somebody playing way too fast here. Thankfully, it's not us. It's our opponent. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Fine. I'm okay with this move. Okay. It's not the end of the world. I guess I would have preferred development or taking on e5. Because here you're giving him a chance. Now that move is not correct. You played bishop e2. And I'm just looking for dirty things you can do to him. The simplest would be to take this thing and then play bishop b5 check. Knight f3, bishop f3, and now your opponent loses a tempo again. What could he have done? He could have taken on f3 and played b5, kicked your knight on out of there. Poor move, not developing. is kind of tricky. Now, you say you were looking for a trap, but still can't find one. Here you go, right here. All you have to do is play knight d6 check to the miserable king. Right? You just check to the miserable king, you're going to win something. Right? Developing. You can still play check to the miserable king. Boom! Yeah. And you mentioned it before. Yeah, so this, I don't know. That ain't it. That ain't it. Now, rook fe1 isn't bad, but definitely this is winning outright. Okay. Now, bishop d1. What's the problem? They're not developing. Check to the miserable king. Good move. Fine. Now they can resign. See? Chess is sometimes an easy game. This is now too fancy. So one of the problems we see with people at this level is after they win a piece, they often try to get way too fancy with the situation. There's no reason to be fancy in this situation. Right? You give black 3-4 moves. He's still completely lost. There's nothing he can do. But then why are we giving him things? Here we're just giving him DE5. Why? Jens Chess, the knight on c4 wasn't hanging. I don't know if he saw this, but it wasn't hanging because of queen a4 check. Good move. Good move. Little weird, but okay. Good. G3, thank you very much. And he resigns. Okay, well done. I like especially that you took your time and your opponent, or you took more time than your opponent. That's what we want to see at the dojo, right? Okay, that's Floso from Germany. Tell us something about yourself, Floso, and get a little bit more religious here with the recording of hours. Next up, we have the option trader. Oh, I don't know how to pick his brain. So he says, chess tactics for kids is not terribly interesting, especially without exercises paired with it. I get a lot from Common Chess Patterns course on Chessable, dedicated opening practice, not memorizing moves by rote, but simply setting them to understand why certain moves are preferred at certain times, has been incredibly useful in improving my game. The opening is everything, but only if you understand it. Spoken like an options trader. So we'll see, actually. I'll tell you what. In general, I mean, I've heard this 1,000 times from people in under 1,000, and I've yet to look through their games and been like, oh, yeah, the opening's really helping this guy. I also have some problems with chess tactics for kids. And we get grumblings about it, and not infrequently. But it's also loved by a core group of people. So, I don't know what to say there. I'm not sure what to say. We do review, actually, now is a good time for us to talk about it. We review all of the requirements in the dojo. We're reviewing them all the time, but we actually make the changes for the coming year every May 1st. That was when we started the dojo way back in 22. So we're always looking at this kind of feedback and making adjustments. I like it. Quant Jock is his name. There you go. He was more religious before, but nevertheless, you can see the man is making progress. Maybe not logging as much as he was before, maybe still working. In any case, he is going up. And clubs. 50 plus Chicago, beautiful. One of my contentions in life that I'm not sure about, okay, as I open this one over here, one of my contentions in life is that you can't tell a person's politics from how they play chess. Right? There's no it doesn't transfer. It's not like when you meet some blue-haired liberal that they'll play real meek, and it's not true if you see some like army dude that they're going to play really aggressive. However, there is, I think, risk tolerance. That definitely like translates. How risky you are in life will generally translate how you are in over the board, and also your investment strategy kind of in life will play. You can see that reflected in a person's play on the board. Further, further, this is that I feel very certain about. But what I would want to talk to the quant jock about is my experience is if you are someone who is interested in options trading, which is not only aggressive, but like kind of weird. Like there's no reason there's no reason to be that. If you want to invest, there's no reason to go down that road to make your life that weird. So if you're willing to do that, then I think you're also interested, in my experience, this is a small sample size, of playing positions that are weird, paradoxical. Right? I'm less sure about that because honestly, there's not that many players out there who are also doing options trading. That's just my experience with that kind of person. And maybe there's some boring options trading. It's just my experience of the people I know who've done options trading. Can you expand on that? I have 3 kids learning chess now. You mean on the book, Chess Tactics for Kids? I'm not sure what you're asking. All right, let's get into options trader here. So, boom. No time. This is a 15 plus 10 and options trader. No, I don't do that time control. That is too fast. So I shouldn't have marked that as reviewed. Let's see if these other ones are also that fast as well. Oh, yeah. No. We need to do at least at this level. It's generally a 45 minutes game that is the minimum. Yeah, so these are all 15-10. Why do we insist on there being longer games? Because your mind needs the ability to think longer, even if you want to play blitz chess. Your mind still needs to be able to think slow before it can think fast. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully we'll get some games from the options trader that are a little slower. I want to talk to the man, though. I want to talk to the man about his options trade. Next up, we have Kimchi Head. Kimchi Head doesn't tell us anything. Looks like they began just last month. Might not have anything for us yet. And we got 1 game. Played in the 3rd of this month. Here's our time graph. One of the reasons, too, is that if a fast game, it's if you're gonna look at it and then I'm gonna look at it, you want to be thinking over positions where you actually thought, right? Whereas in a 15-minute game, you can't really think too much about it. You said you don't like Chess Tactics for Kids. That's not what I've said. I'm just talking about some of the feedbacks we've got. I think a lot of people love that book. We wouldn't have put it in if people didn't love that book. And honestly, I'm not sure actually, I'm a little confused. Hold on. I think he's confusing the books, honestly. Because Chess Tactics for Kids, let me just do a little dive here for a second. Because he's saying that there's no material paired with it, which makes me think he's actually talking about the book How to Beat Your Dad at Chess, which I had a problem with that one because it didn't have material paired Whereas this one, I think, kind of does. Well, I'm just looking through it here. In any case, I think mostly people like that book. Murray Chandler. Murray Chandler also wrote the book How to Beat Your Dad at Chess. So maybe it's a little bit similar where there's not the same kind of volume of tactics in there. Yeah. So there is so just buyer beware. I think it's a fine book, but there's not that many tactics in there in terms of like here's a bunch of problems you need to do kind of tactics. Okay, so this is Kimchi Head. We don't like e5 because it's not a developing move. And now the bishop gets out, and now we have a little bit of trouble. In fact, we could lose our pawn here on e5. So bishop h3 is not a good move. He gets us. We lose a pawn. Good move by your opponent. I don't like that because it's not developing. Good move. Notice, your opponent has a problem now because he doesn't know to develop. I don't think that's necessary. The knight was a chump on b4 anyway. Now we missed that, and now we got this going on. He invites your knight in and finds castles. Nice move by him. Snip, snop, snip, snop. f6 is safer, but knight f6 is probably okay. Check to the miserable king. Nice move by your opponent. He's up a pawn. Oh, nice move by you. I think here he should consider knight d7. This is probably, well, king e8's a little frisky because now bishop e5. So rook e1, blunder. And blunder by your opponent coming next. Here he should play knight d7. Full blunder e6. What's the main problem here? Let's return. He's not thinking. If the man had thought, he might not have hung this one, right? So we say it all the time. The key issue in the cohort at this level is they're moving too fast. Here you play this move quickly, but it's a good one. Morphy versus the Duke, rook d8 coming. So that was nice. Rook d1, very nice. Okay, that was well done. Next up, we got Tim. This is a huge week, by the way. So I don't know if we're going to get done today, which is okay. We can continue another day if we don't do it. Tim joined fairly recently. I don't think he's got anything for us. But welcome to the dojo, Tim. We'll give you a follow. And next up, Bert Squeaks. What's going on with Bert? All right. So, does Bert have any games for us? Also recently joined. Welcome to the dojo, Bert. I try to remember to follow people that graduate. Blunders Queens is up next. And he's made it to the 900 to 1,000 cohort. But no, wrong cohort here. So I think a lot of people are confused. Sometimes they see this like 1,000 ChessCom. That is not 1,000 Dojo. We have a universal rating system. So we're not quite there yet, Blunders Queens. So let me just check. All right, now we got OOJ. My second graduation since I joined the dojo. I don't log all of my activities, but still working on chess and improving. All right, beautiful. Now you notice this person is really doing it. They've put in quite a bit of work since their last graduation. And maybe, like he said, he's not logging everything. 943. So you can see here, Lee Chess 1628. It's a very inflated system, translates to 943. One of the things I just did our dojo newsletter, goes out every month. And one of the things I said that we need to do this year, big to-do list, is to fix our dojo rating translator. And I think I have a feeling the Lee Chess is even more inflated, has become more inflated since we did our last one. So this is Jürgen aus Deutschland. Jürgen, tell us something about yourself. We got some games here. This is the most recent. This looks like a daily chess tournament game. Now, the daily ones, I might try a different one just to see. If they're all dailies, I'll do it daily. But in general, I want to see an actual game. This is the Elite Chess Classical Club. Okay. Oh, look at that, my friends. So, now this time control, I think, is totally fine. It's weird. This 1560 is still a long enough time control. But what we're seeing here from the time graph is that people weren't thinking at all. So they actually gained time. And Jürgen, this points to a very important problem that you and others at your level will face, which is that people aren't thinking. Okay? So I'm going to probably, I and you will have spent more time looking at this game than you did playing it. Right? Okay. Good move so far. I think you can definitely take the knight. Okay. Okay. Frisky, e5. So as an example, I am currently thinking longer on your decision here than, and on White's decision than you guys both did, right? So for example, if I'm White, I want to consider e4, maybe with g4 or without it. As it is, he activates your knight and then plays e4. Okay. I think you should consider castling here. Let's look at what you wrote here. Now notice you said you had some fears, but you only thought for a minute here when you had a gazillion minutes left. I don't understand knight e5 because the queen is hanging on e2. Right? Okay, so this is what we're talking about. We need to move slower. Okay. Okay. And now you found bishop g6 in the postmortem, maybe with the engine. You're definitely playing the move h6 way too fast. Now we don't like this move because the pawn, the bishop is pinned on e4. It's not going anywhere. So an example would be rook e7. And then you could play rook a e8 to improve your pieces. Rook b8, the rook isn't improved. Okay. Your opponent's not thinking, really. Not a great move. He wants to double your pawns or something. And here you miss bishop f7. And also, bishop h7 is also, I mean, he's winning there as well. Okay. I don't like, why don't we like queen d7? Because you give him the rook. But maybe it's your best shot. Rook a7. Oh my gosh. Wait a second. I just want to go back. So queen d7, not the greatest move. More clever would have been queen d5. So that the b pawn could be taken. Now the b pawn cannot be taken. Good move. Yeah. And now you actually, it's a very interesting question about how White should pursue this here. Boom, boom, boom. And now this next move, b4. I want to guarantee that that's much too fast. Okay. For example, you could consider bishop d2. Looks strong. Looks strong. We need to move slower. a3 doesn't make any sense. 9 seconds. Knight e6. Bishop d2. You give it an exclamation. Well, maybe, but bishop e5 is certainly a simple move that we could have also done. Okay, timeout. Timeout. So he blunders with knight b5. Yeah. Okay. So why is this happening? Because he's not thinking. And now you're just winning. Now it's all over. Okay. Good victory. And let me just say, you shouldn't feel terrible about moving fast. You should just understand that it's the reason why, one of the 3 reasons that people get trapped below 1,000. And of the 3 reasons, the hardest one to fix is not hanging stuff. And then the next 2, taking your time and learning to develop your pieces, are much easier to learn. This one, though, learning to develop your pieces, to get religion on it, is easier to learn than taking your time. Because learning to take your time is legitimately a hard thing because you are learning to think. Right? Okay, so that's Jurgen. And now we got B-Pie. And he says, a night rotation at work got in the way of regular playing and dedicated studying. I routinely did at least 10 to 15 minutes of puzzles every day, but didn't log them. I finished the cohort mate in 2s, which can be a struggle. I'm really working on maintaining board vision and not hanging stuff, applying the tactical patterns I'm learning from resources and puzzles, but really trying to start and see how adding in attacking lines augments the tactical patterns. I hope to be more regular again going forward. I imagine I'll be hitting a strong plateau here soon. Okay, so there he is. He's reached 901. B-Pie did a lot of work to get here. Right, you can see from his beautiful graph, he might have been more religious before. Now here you got stuck on the night rotation. All right, so yeah, he's flatlined a little bit since going on the night rotation, but he's gotten up enough to graduate. Okay, so let's take a look. Chess dads and moms, I get it. That's the night rotation right there, I'll tell you. So, this one very recently he played. And a beautiful thing, we took our time and our opponent didn't, and we won. Now, we want to say that at this point in your chess development, you want to be playing a longer time control than this. We can talk about what that time control is maybe after we look at the game. Okay. Bishop d3. Bishop d3 is a little weird. e5 is, of course, normal. Poor move, blocking in the c-pawn. e5 is now best here. Now we need to play e5. e5 is now a real bone crusher, too, because now black did this miserable bishop d7, which blocks the knight from retreating after e5. All right. I'm not thrilled. Let's read what you write after bishop e7. I feel I have a tiny advantage at this point as his bishops are so passive, and I'm castled ready to try and open the position while recognizing that he's one move from castling. I realize that I still have to develop the dark square bishop, but felt I haven't had a great square yet, and with the way he's boxed in his pieces, I feel slightly advantaged and try to start to open the position while his king is in the center. e5, of course that's the move. You're right, I did consider this and maybe the knight jump around and maybe it would be better, but I didn't want to keep things close. So there we want to say that's dogmatic. And I want to just point out, the thing we're focusing on here is the fact that the knight has no good squares, and you're essentially undeveloping the knight at this point. Right? We are undeveloping the black knight. But in the game, we are opening up the black bishop. And here we help him again, because he should have taken with e-pawn right away. But you help him open that thing, and now he develops it. Black's now fine. You talk about maybe c3, but I guess we have to play c3. Now we're hanging our pawn on d4. He misses it. Good move. I don't like it because you're not developing. Plus, what do you want to do? Take that thing? That looks like a blunder. Now you say clear advantage. This is a winning position. You're up a piece. Good move. Good move. Very nice. Best move of the game so far. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ah, beautiful. All right. I don't feel like I hung obvious opportunities. I've done the It's About Time course from Kraai and feel like I'm still not the best about eliminating moves that don't accomplish much. That's cool you did the course. I kept feeling like I didn't have a great development square for my dark square bishop, and that led to me not completing my development for what I think is too long. But my opponent kept his king in the middle for a long time, allowing me to keep a small advantage. I need you to continue to work on that aspect and find useful development moves more efficiently. Great. Great. And I just want to stress, like, this course I did was all about these dojo games, all about the many graduation shows I've done looking at games at this level. And really now, when we think it was designed for people who've kind of reached 1,000. You reach 1,000, you're not hanging pieces anymore. And at that point, it's going to be realizing that your opponents are going to give you time. Like this guy did, right? Giving time, and then we win. We win. And also, nice move, knight e5. Okay, let's mark that as reviewed. And we'll continue here. I think we'll do one more and I'll take a break. This is Kataman. And we're into the 1,000 plus now. Kataman doesn't tell us much. He's in the Adult Improver, joined in April. Do we got any games from the Kataman? We do. So this looks like a OTB from the Social Tournament 2025. He is playing a woman named Anna Crispino. We don't have times, but this is an hour 30. One thing I feel like I've noticed doing this for years is people who are in the under 1,000, who are in Europe, are far more likely to have this kind of experience where they are venturing to play in some tournament where they then play a very solid time control, where there's a lot of thinking involved. And it's critical for anyone's chess improvement to be doing something like this. Okay. So here we go. Let's actually switch to the game review format. And we'll get into it here. So fine move so far. Good. D3 is, of course, weird. Put your pawn on D4. Boldly put it up there, bud. H3. Okay. Repeat 8, a little fancy, I'm not sure. Okay, good. Slow. Fine. And now you play bishop H6, and this is a big mistake for two reasons. Bishop H6 is very common at this level. And a lot of times it is with a player who is thinking that they're going to get an attack or something. But notice just in this position that this bishop is not a good bishop. It's not a good bishop. This one's amazing. Now why? Because this guy's blocked in by his pawns. This guy has pawns all on the opposite color, which are freeing its path. Furthermore, not only are we trading a good bishop for a bad bishop, but we are wasting a tempo. That's not a developing move. What would be correct? F4. Notice with F4, we are developing the rook, right? We're developing the rook. Okay, knight C5, snip, snap, F4. I'm glad you played F4. Takes. And now generally we like to play GF4. Are you playing the knight? Okay. Good move. Oh, that's got to be good. So Queen E7 didn't help his cause. That didn't help his cause. And now we're just totally winning. So black blundered. Blunders another pawn. Oh, nice move. Very nice. Queen D6, knight F6, check to the miserable king. And now we're winning. Here you make a couple slow moves, but I don't care. We're at this point, we just want to make sure we're completely edging him out. Here he goes full Nigel Short here with his king. So again, people making this a little too complicated. You're up a queen. You don't have to be too fancy here. This is Nigel Short against Timon, where he brings the king to h6, kind of a famous game. Love what you're doing here. Okay, so Mr. Catania, you're playing good chess. You're playing good chess. And bishop h6 is an example of the kind of mistake that when you get to a slightly higher level than where you're at, you're going to realize that's what's keeping me from improving. That's a great example of a positional mistake, right? Your opponent definitely doesn't punish you for it or anything, but it's a positional mistake, right? And that's where you can improve. Now, when you think about what's next. By the way, I told people a while back that I was going to talk about the appropriate time controls, and let's just get into that briefly. Kataman, first of all, let's go look at Kataman's training plan. If we go look at middle game, he's doing logical chess move by move. And I wanted to show this because that is a really good book for starting to think about what good chess means after you've mastered getting a grip on the board, not hanging stuff, right? You're past 1,000 now. You can also see this mastering time in chess, which is the course that the previous person mentioned. Now, I want to get into games and analysis for a second. We're going to click on this, and we just want to notice, oh, that wasn't it. No, that's the annotation, excuse me. I wanted to have, where's the games? He has actually done 40 classical games, amazing. Here are our time controls. These are minimum time controls, and I just wanted to show this because earlier we had somebody who was over 800 still playing 30-minute games. So imagine we had somebody play, it was a weird time control, 15 plus 60, that was Jürgen. That would be acceptable for this level just because 60 minutes is going to extend the time you can think so much. But in general, these are the more standard minimum time controls that you'll see out there. Okay, my friends, I'm going to take a quick break, and I will come back after I get some coffee and stuff. Okay, here we go. We are back at it. I got myself a delicious little tea. Maybe it's a little too late in the day to be drinking delicious tea, but I'm doing it because I'm living life on the wild side. All right. So, here we are. Someone's mentioning me on our beautiful Discord here. And I should also say, we have a promotion. We do this every year. It's a beautiful thing. And if you want to check out the dojo for a month, for free, dude, then you can use the following code. I'm going to put it up here. Ba-bam. That's not New York. It's New Year's 26. You use NY26 when you sign up, and you can get a free month of the dojo. And the idea is very simple, is that we are very proud of the site. And we know that in years past, maybe people have seen it and been like, dude, this site isn't doing it for me yet. We're building it all the time. We're making it better. And we just want people to try it out, and people who maybe have not done it before to try it out. We'll give them a month for free. Hopefully they'll be into it after the free month. Okay, so let's continue over here. And where are we, Jesse? We're over here somewhere. We're over here somewhere. All right, so we're on to Eliza. And Eliza says, managed to sneak in a second graduation this year despite being in a bit of a funk when it comes to working on my chess. Showing up for the weekly game at the local club and replacing Instagram with ChessCom puzzles whenever I get itchy for a screen time fix has managed to be enough to pull me through this cohort. Anyways, I'll always enjoy checking in on the other graduates when waiting my turn for Jesse to roast me. For a happy start to 26 for the senseis and all the other folks in the dojo. Thank you very much, Eliza, and congratulations. This is at least the third graduation here. Let's go take a look. Fourth graduation. And Eliza, look at that. Ba-boom. In November, she was on the screen a little too much, but is now going for it in December. And look at this rating graph here. It is amazing. Up to 1,100. Very nice. So, I remember Eliza quite clearly, and it's been a little bit of a while, since September, I think it shows, where she last graduated. So, Eliza's got Seattle. Beautiful. It's funny, I have the terrible Alexa on, and I think it was responding to my saying Eliza and gave me a little boom. All right, games. Let's roast her. It's time to roast. So this was played earlier this month. And here we don't have a time graph. Again, we can always do it even if it is a OTB game like this one looks to be. All right, here we go. Game review. She says she doesn't feel comfortable. As long as you develop your pieces, you are going to be fine. Good, good, good. You're doing great. You're doing great. Your bishop is now out. The bishop on c8. Good move. Good move. Now, bishop g6, I don't love because we're giving up a tempo. You do something kind of clever here. You're saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to open up the rook. And controversial, I kind of like it from a, let's call it, from the perspective of just wanting you to be active. I like it from that perspective. We want to say that you're probably now, though, going to have to spend another tempo getting your king fixed. So it's not clear this is a full win. But again, I want to stress that I like that you're thinking about getting your pieces active. Very frisky from white to go that way. Good move. Good move. So notice you're doing some great things where you're saying to yourself, well, I want to open my rooks. And your opponent now is taking forever shuffling their pieces all around. Now, you could do a variety of things in this position. I don't like knight g4. I think a pawn storm with c4 followed by some kind of b5, b4 looks a little bit more interesting to me. Okay, but you can tell this is because you're obsessed with the rook coming out. And now what is interesting is on h3, it looks like you did have an idea here, and that was to take, and now the knight can't recapture. But maybe it's not that big of a thing. Probably isn't for white to have to take back with the pawn. Terrible move. What's the main problem? It's not developing. Queen f4 check. Knight. It's like, excuse me, it's a long day. Usually the king's on c1. Here it's not actually check. But queen f4 is a good move. That's a nasty move. I don't know what he should do, but that isn't it. And now b5 was played. Very frisky. Could you have played knight e4? I think you could have. I think you could have played knight e4. Yeah, looks very strong to play knight e4. And we're also getting your dream of the rook involved. b5. Knight d3. You said thank you very much. So notice b5 was just like, it's way more complicated than it needed to be. Rook c2. Knight d4. I don't know. This isn't going well for us. Now white is fine. Now he's totally fine. Knight b6. b3. Now b3 is honestly at least a well-intentioned move because he's getting your knight out. But I think it's true that this is a good move. With two threats, the knight c3 threat and the pawn on f2 threat. Now, this next move is a mistake because now white is inviting your rook in. And here, of course, you should trade. Notice, though, now that even though you're up a pawn, the dogmatists in the room would say, hey, buddy, I don't know if that's actually an extra pawn because it's hard to see how you're going to turn that into a passer on the king side. Good. Okay, I don't know about h6. Knight d7 feels weird to me. There's a lot I don't understand here. Okay, I like that move. Now notice white has been improving the position and you haven't the last couple of moves. Knight d7, I'm going to call that a cheap shot. And when you say you don't like it, you should tell us what you would rather be doing here. Right? I think knight e4 might be interesting. Knight d4 at least gives us this opportunity later. Good move by your opponent. Good move by your opponent. And now you're in trouble. Notice that how active the white king is all of a sudden. Now, we got to say, couldn't white should have played king d6 here. But he allowed this. Good move, I think. And now he's hanging this whole business. So, king here, knight here, he's actually in a little bit of a jam though, isn't he? Because look, rook a5, you've got knight c6. So, actually, knight d3, it's already winning. Because he can't go here. This loses. Maybe he could try. Maybe he could have done this. Bang. And bang. Forking your coconuts. Now, I'm not exactly sure it's true yet. I'm just looking. Wait a second, Kraai. King d5, no bueno, knight b4. So already, knight d3, you've got him. Thank you very much. And now we blunder, knight c6. Here we would like to see the time spent to know what was going on here. Terrible move, king c3. Were people not thinking? It looks like they weren't thinking. Oh, what are they doing? This isn't how you play chess. Now, I don't like rook a6 at all. I want you to play rook c4 to win the pawn and to keep the white king out. In any case, we are winning this position with ease, and you did so. Very nice, Eliza. I just want to say, this is not just for Eliza, but I'm really starting to see that the people in the dojo who are like technically around 1,000 are playing much better chess than I would expect a 1,000 level player to play. So that's already very encouraging. Maybe it just means that chess in general, people are getting better. And what we want to say is you're not hanging too many things. Here you're making your life too complicated with b5. That might be an example of something to work on. Simple moves, 94 was nice, but you could also just take the pawn directly. Thank you very much. Right? Okay. Well done, Eliza. I didn't roast you too bad, I think. Next up, we have David Holmes. I'm really enjoying the structure in Dojo. I hope that the plus minus equal pillar is burned into the software one day, as I have not found it easy using Discord for this purpose and do want to interact with others in my cohort. I totally agree that we haven't dialed it in that well. However, we've just started the Game and Profile Review group, and while that is an extra cost, it really is giving us the space to do a structured plus minus equal, especially the equal. So we're having a group, they get together, they look at their games with other people, they look at their own training strategy, and then they meet with a sensei, right? And then they rinse and repeat. So one person is up every week, and they look at their games, ask the questions, what's going on, and then they meet with a sensei. I've done this for about 1.5 years, and now David and Kostya are going to be joining me doing it, along with a bunch of other people. That begins January. It will be going on nonstop, and I believe there's still a discount on that. It's not like a full month like the dojo is itself for the January, but that's definitely something I encourage people to check out, especially people who are rightly criticizing our site for making the plus minus equal not so easy. It is a very hard thing that was hard for us to understand at the beginning, that engineering, social engineering, is a hard thing. Some people, by the way, in the dojo have been very successful in finding people to work with. They go on Discord and they talk and they ask who can look at this with me, yada, yada. Some people, I think this would be, if I was a user too, though, are saying, like, David, like, dude, I'm having a hard time with this because I'm not an extrovert. You know, I'm not just out there being like, hey, let's go hang out or something, you know? Yeah. Okay, but let's look at what's going on in David Holmes's profile. Back to chess after a long hiatus, I realized that the kid was not as smart as I had imagined. I want to get better, enjoy the journey, and make it a permanent part of my life, and make chess friends along the way. Beautiful stuff. He is at 1194. So we got some games. Here we go. This one very recent. We'll start with a little time check. And here we go. Playing the randos online, they're going to move too fast. That's exactly what happened here. Okay, so mark this as reviewed. And I'll probably have to stop after this because I can hear life happening in the background. All right, so you see a lot of beginners play this. It's not the worst thing, but it does not help them in their chess development to play this way because they're not going to get a sense of where the pieces move intuitively when they're just playing a setup. This is fine. Fine. Rook e8. I'm going to call rook e8 unnecessary. You could play e5 directly, but good move. Queen c2 looks a little frisky to me. Fe seems important to throw in, and then probably e4. It's actually already a slightly difficult position for white. Now, here we get frisky with knight d5, and I want to say, whether we end up liking this move or not, I like that you spent a long time thinking about it. Yeah. So, rook e1 does not look correct to Mundo. I think knight c4 is forced. Or maybe knight b3. So good move. And now you've got a winning position. Very well played. And now you said, all right, I'm going to take it. And now let's pin it. Oh, such a beautiful position here now. Simple chess. Okay, queen d2. Good move. I don't know where he's going, knight f2. No idea. This is the first move I disapprove of, right? Because you're blocking your bishop. Okay, maybe it's not so easy to know exactly what to do, but the first thing we should notice is our knight is not doing great on c6, and we should think about rerouting him in some way. So, not a good one. You're still winning, of course. Now you reroute. I don't like d5. This gives you the f7 to e5 route. Knight f7, very good. Very good. So notice, he fixed your piece for you. You had a bad piece and he fixed it for you. Now, it is true, though, how do we feel about this queen a7 thing? So what do I want to say? There's no rush for you to play knight e5. Only do it if you're really sure that queen a7 isn't doing anything to you. If you feel the slightest bit of concern, you should play b6. You're up a pawn, and knight e5 is still coming. So I'm uncertain about knight e5. You take. Queen b5. Good move. And what I have to admit is, even if I didn't like allowing queen a7 on a practical level, objectively, it was fine. Because you have this queen b5. I don't like c4 because well, it's just terrible. Now, your opponent actually thinks for 6 minutes here. Let me go back to this time graph here. Now, this is like the one time in the game they really thought. And c4 wasn't it, though. Thank you very much. Rook e2. I think that's okay. Uh-oh. And now, I see what happened to me. Now, when I say I think it's okay, I blew it. I blew it. Oh, no. So, yeah, you're totally winning this position, and you could do anything as long as it's not rook e2. And that's such a bummer. Such a bummer. And I don't know if it's a consolation to you or not, but I also blew it. What should be clear, though, is, the thing about rook e2 is you're not really threatening anything too important, right? You're actually only threatening the pawn on a2. So very important, we want to say is if you make a mistake, then we want to say what the improvement was. And we also want to put a question mark next to rook e2. And we want to say what would have been better, right? Queen e2 looks just winning on the spot, or very hard to deal with anyway, because you're touching this coat. Oh, that was a bummer. That was a bummer. Okay, my friends, I'm going to pause it there. We have loads to go, as you can see. And then also we have from last week as well. So I have to go attend to life. But I'm going to hopefully in the next couple days, I'm going to catch up to where I was before. And I'll just end by making a couple announcements. And we're also we'll check in if Kostya is playing his tournament. Couple announcements is that you can use the code NY26 if you go sign up on the dojo, and you can get a free month of the basic dojo, everything that's cool about our site. So that is a beautiful thing we do every year. And also, you can join the game and profile review. We're starting that January 1st, as well as our lecture classes, and you can find that all on our site. Actually, I'll share the coolest place is this blog where we have ChessDojo launches live group classes. There's a lot more involved description about what that entails. And now I want to go see if I can find Kostya's event. see here. We're going to bring over YieldChess.com. He's in the Rilton Club, I believe. And let's go look. Games. And let's just see if we can do a Control F on Kostya here. Where is he? Am I missing it? There he is. So let's just see how he's been doing. He's playing WIM today. And yeah, he lost against Christian Bauer. He's having a bit of a rough tournament. You can see, though, that in round 4, he still had a shot at, he's going for a GM norm and having a rough go of it, drawing a 2191 last night. It's hard, my friends. It's hard. You know, these 2191s. This guy also like an FM. I only rated 2191. Oh, it's rough. It's rough. Kostya's going for it, playing in a lot of tournaments. He's played another tournament after this Rilton Cup. So that's just a cool thing. He's a young man out and about getting to play all these tournaments. Even though he's getting his mouth punched in. Oh, it's rough. It's true, though. Even though he's getting beat up, let's put it that way. Even though he's getting beat up, I think this will ultimately be great experience for his push toward the GM title. All right, my friends, I'm going to raid somebody here. And who are we going to raid? Let's look. We got loads of people. Here's somebody. I have no idea who they are. But if I don't know them, I don't see a friend of the dojo who's currently streaming, I like to go with them. I don't know if I spelled this guy's name right. Jareen in the house. He's got 5 people watching him, so maybe this will make his day. I'm going to raid that guy. I'm going to hopefully be back. I will be back in the next days. I don't know what my exact schedule will be. It's a little bit of holiday business around my place, so I'll make it happen, though, before Wednesday next rolls around. I have a whole new batch of graduates. Bye, everybody.